It was Tuesday, September the 11th, 2001, when I found myself standing in the middle of the dining facility at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, watching a Boeing 767 jetliner crash into the South Tower of the World Trade Center. Now, I admit to you, I did not know what to feel or how to feel in those moments, but I knew that my life had changed because a room that is typically filled with pride and camaraderie and the sound of soldiers was quickly filled with the taste of uncertainty. After receiving a quick phone call from the commanding General John Vine of the 82nd Airborne Division, I realized then that I only had time to make one phone call. So I called my wife, LaTanya, and I remember saying to her, "You may want to go and get the boys from school and head home. And I'll call you when I can, but chances are I will not be coming home tonight." Little did I know that that would be my life for the next 3 years, saying goodbye to my loved ones, not knowing if or when I would return home. So after 3 combat tours to Iraq, I retired from the Army, but I retired with a disorder known as post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. And as a veteran living with PTSD, one of the last places in the world one of the last places in the world you would want to be assigned would be cafeteria duty. Yet there I was, standing in the middle of the cafeteria again, charged with the responsibility of managing the chaos of 400 plus students infiltrating the cafeteria in the span of 25 minutes. So there I stood in the middle of the cafeteria as students began to assault the lunch line. Although I was firmly planted at 2001 Allegheny Street, Charlotte, North Carolina, my mind was beginning to be dragged 6,538 miles away, a 14-hour flight on a Boeing 767 jetliner. So as students began to maneuver around me in the middle of the cafeteria, trying to avoid crashing into me, I began to maneuver back from the middle of the cafeteria to a corner in that cafeteria. And as students began to fill that cafeteria from every access point around it, I quickly realized that my disability, my disorder was on full display. As I stood in the corner of that cafeteria, interrogating myself with questions like, why are they wearing a hoodie? And it's 90 degrees outside. Why are they wearing those backpacks? Because backpacks go boom in Iraq. So realizing that my disorder, my disability was now on full display, I remember retreating from the cafeteria and marching directly to the principal's office, to Dr. Eric T. Ward's office. As I made my way down that long hallway to Dr. Eric T. Ward's office, I could see him sitting behind his desk as I made my way toward him. But he didn't recognize me until I was standing in the threshold of his door with my fists clenched, fighting back the tears because my disorder was getting the best of me. As I stood there in that threshold, I remember Dr. Ward embracing my reality in those moments. And I began to ask Dr. Ward for what we in the military know as a compassionate reassignment. So out of the kindness of his heart, Dr. Ward reassigned me from the cafeteria to the courtyard. And like a good soldier in the middle of this courtyard, I stood my duty, day in and day out. Rain, sleet, snow, or sunshine, I stood my duty like a good soldier. Standing in the middle of this courtyard afforded me the opportunity to separate myself from the chaos of cafeteria duty. However, day in and day out, I began to witness this unique group of learners emerge out of the chaos. This unique group of learners that we know as exceptional children with learning disabilities. As I stood there watching this group day in and day out, they would make their way from the cafeteria down the sidewalk back to their corner of the world that we know at Harding as the C building. Day in and day out, they would march down this sidewalk. And I couldn't help but to notice the bravery of them in spite of their disabilities. They would make their way from the cafeteria to the C building. Day in and day out, I would watch them. And the thing that I could not get over was how this sea of students would part, almost like the Red Sea, for this amazing group of students. So day in and day out, I would watch them. I would watch them. But while I was watching them, little did I realize somebody was watching me. Somebody was watching me. So as I stood in the middle of this courtyard, barricaded by distance, I should never forget that day when Miss Tommy Richardson broke through my barricade of distance. Miss Richardson walked right up on me in that courtyard. And she looked at me and she said to me, "Colonel, what do you feel about enlisting some of your JROTC cadets to help our exceptional children with their garden project?" Now, I need you to understand that every year, the exceptional children would rehab the garden in the A building atrium. But because of neglect, our garden had become invaded by weeds and overcome by hardened ground. But the more I stood there and listened to Miss Richardson, the more I realized that Miss Richardson was on a mission. She was on a mission to round up a few good students to help rehabilitate that garden. So the more I listened to Miss Richardson, the more I realized that Miss Richardson was asking me to do something that was outside my comfort zone. Miss Richardson wanted me to get my hands a little dirty, to embrace a level of learning that was new to me. where the IB and the AP and the Gen Ed would learn together with the EC in the same learning environment. So while playing in the dirt, we learned how to pull up the weeds of our implicit biases. We learned how to uproot our unconscious attitudes. We learn how to break through our stereotypes about those who have disabilities, those that we don't talk about in mixed company. We learn that as hardened rams come in all different shapes, sizes, and abilities. We learn that our differences don't divide us, they actually define who we are. We learn that as hardened rams, there's more to being a ram than being resilient, accountable, motivated, and successful. You see, we learned that there was more to being a ram than just being successful. And as a consequence, this is how our quote-unquote traditional cadets began to embrace our exceptional children. They embraced them to a point where they affectionately called the exceptional children lambs. Now don't get it twisted. They affectionately call them lambs, not because they are weak or any less of a ram. They call them lambs because we've learned that the lambs bring out the best in the rams. We've learned that as rams, we have been called to become better listeners. We listen now with empathy, kindness, and compassion. We learn that as rams, we're called to be adaptable, that we don't just accept them because they are exceptional children. We have learned to anticipate them. We anticipate them. When they're not there, we look for them. Where are they? Because they are a part of us. Because they have become a part of us, we don't just anticipate them, we appreciate them. Why? Because they remind us that we are mentors, that we are building a better learning environment. We've learned that our success is directly tied to being servant leaders, leaders who lead the flock as well as protect the flock. We've learned this. Why? Because the lambs inspire us to raise the standard, to become better each and every day. You see, I want you to understand something, that when we first started out with our new partnership that began in the courtyard, that conversation between a teacher and a broken soldier, we thought that we were doing something for the lambs. We thought that by taking them to their first high school football game, we were doing something for the lambs. But as my cadets would tell you, can I keep it real with you? Can I keep it 1,000 wild with you? The truth is, we thought that we were doing something for them. But when I called Colonel Cowley, the director of JROTC and CMS, and I said to him, hey, sir, we want to bring the lambs to the district drill team competition. We thought that we were doing something for them. When we took them to the Veterans Day parade and marched down the middle of the road with them carrying the national colors and our school banner, we thought we were doing something for them. But the reality is, they were doing something for us. The reality is, they were doing something for me. You see, what started out as cadets and EC students rehabilitating a garden actually rehabilitated a broken soldier. It's because I learned how to get my hands a little dirty. You see, we thought we were doing something for them, but we've learned that because the lambs are thoroughly immersed in the JROTC, as Cadet Daniel will tell you, where we go, they go. What we do, they do. You see, every day I get to experience a new level of a cadet. We have a cadet by the name of Cadet Marquez Pendergraft. Now, I need you to understand something. Cadet Pendergraft is classified as nonverbal. But Cadet Pendergraft reminds me that there's more to communication than just words. You see, just because he cannot communicate all of his words doesn't mean that he cannot communicate. You see, every day when I see Cadet Pendergraft leave the C building, running to get to the D building, to get to JROTC, understand this. He is not running with his fist clenched or crying. He is coming because he understands he is a part of something bigger. So when I see him coming down the hall, I'll ask him a question because we can communicate. I'll ask him a question, a call and response question, a cold call question, if you will. I'll say to Cadet Pendergraft, can I get a whoa? And he'll say to me, whoa. Now, he's nonverbal, but we're communicating. And I'll say to him, Cadet Pendergraft, can I get a whoa? And he'll say, whoa. Now, I know I'm sitting looking at you all, and some of you all are asking the question, what in the world does whoa mean? Now, my good friend, First Sergeant Edwards, up there at Mallet Creek, JROTC would tell you that whoa means anything except no. So I can ask you, did you enjoy that reception? Well, y'all a smart class. I said, so I can ask you, are you ready for the next three presenters? So y'all already leaning forward. So we can skip the pre-test. I'm going to ask you a question, and I need you to understand, a good whoa comes from the depth of your soul, and it's trying to get out. So you got to sit up straight. Tell the person next to you, sit up straight. You gotta lean forward a little bit. Tell the person next to you, let me clear my throat. Are y'all ready? Can I get a hooah? Can I get a hooah? Can I get a hooah? That's good right there. That's good. Now, I know you never imagined being in such a dignified and refined environment like teacher talk, screaming at the top of your voice, hooah. But what started out as a little uncertainty, a little unfamiliarity, has actually become a partnership where we have come together to form something beautiful. As my battle buddies, Master Sergeant Mason and Chief Johnson would tell you, that what started out as a conversation in a courtyard between a soldier and a teacher has actually become a pathway to endless possibilities. What started out as a conversation behind a barricade of distance has actually become a catalyst to a bigger idea that if America is to live out the true meaning of these words, that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What started out as a conversation has actually become a call to action, but not just any call to action. This is your call to action, to become a catalyst that creates change for the lambs that are among you. But the question is, only you can answer it. Are you ready to get your hands a little dirty? Thank you.